We're getting a lot of positive test results. It still seems like it's being done piecemeal. I'm getting, friends of mine in various places who are up close, as I'm sure you've heard, and there's no uniform policy anywhere. I'm really interested in how you think this is going so far, and what does it mean as we inch closer to what we hope is the beginning of the college football season?
Yeah, right now, it's kind of like charge ahead and just hope you're not charging off a cliff. I mean, there are reasons to be optimistic, but there are also reasons to be cautious and to worry. I think that for the most part, there's a belief that young, healthy people, even if they contract the virus, are not going to be seriously ill from it for the most part. And, that the young football players should be able to withstand a group setting and practice and all those things, and then eventually competition. But they're coached by older people. There's a lot of older people around football programs. How is it going to be? Could they be affected by all of this? Is testing going to be adequate? Is it going to be up to speed on everybody? And then what happens? Yeah, we've had 3 guys here, 4 guys there. What happens if you get 15, in a locker room that all of a sudden, after a scrimmage or whatever, are sick? And what is there a number that is all of a sudden too much? Is there a situation that's all of a sudden too serious? Does it set everything back? Does it cause a recalibration by university presidents who are much more attuned to liability and things like that probably than on the athletic side? And they say, whoa, we got to put a halt to this. So I think it's very much piecemeal. As you said, look, positive tests are going up in a lot of places, including the 3 most populous states in the country that are also 3 huge football states, Florida, Texas, California. What is that going to mean? Does it translate to increased hospitalizations? Does it translate to increased deaths? And if so, does that push everybody back to where we were in April?
Yeah, and I don't think nobody wants to be negative. I mean, a couple of days ago, everything seemed like it was perfect. The economy was bouncing back. The stock market was going up today. The market, I feel like we're back in March. The market literally crashes because of fears of a second wave. And here in the college football space, it's all move ahead, but I don't think either one of us want anything but normalcy. But it just seems like the road to normalcy is going to be fraught with a lot of slippery slopes.
No doubt. Yeah, I think that there was not just in football and in athletic circles, but in all circles. Probably, it seemed like late May. It's like, okay, we're kind of done with this, whether we were done really or not. But a lot of people we're going ahead. We're Memorial Weekend. We're going to go out. We're going to do stuff. And then there are protests and mass gatherings. And what's that going to mean as far as a potential virus spike? And, I think now that, there was a reason everybody was cautioned to be careful and to stay inside and to wear masks and to social distance, because I think we saw people lose patience with that, and this is the result. And, yeah, damn the torpedoes, let's go play football. We may eventually run into we can't play football because university presidents are going to close down campuses again. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. We all want football, but we also want a healthy nation. So a tough balancing act here, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I don't think either one of us or anyone thought it was going to be easy to get there, but I do think we are going to. And I know you're devastated about SEC Media Days not being able to be there. It's probably going to ruin your life.
I was saying the ducking and weaving through Radio Row, pretending I had a phone call so I don't end up on 93.9 the game or whatever. I will miss that.
I know how popular you were in all those small markets that crave more Pat 40. Hey, Pat, thanks for coming by. Always great to have you on.
Paul, my pleasure. Thank you.
Oh yeah, one of the most important voices in college athletics, Pat 40, joining us from Sports Illustrated. It's always a pleasure. And we will come back and get to your phone calls right after this.
We're here to tell you about Boost Mobile's new upgraded network.
That's right. Stronger signal, faster speeds, and more coverage.
So now you can get everything you want faster, like Pitbull's music.
No, the new upgraded network means you can download music faster than ever before. It doesn't mean that it will make Pitbull songs faster.
Oh, so this isn't the song.
No, this is the song.
Well, this is embarrassing.
Step up with Boost Mobile's new upgraded network. Stronger signal, faster speeds, more coverage than before. Switch and get 4 unlimited lines for $25 per line per month and 4 free LG K51 phones. Access to upgraded network requires compatible device. New customers only. 4-line offer requires at least 1 port and activation from eligible carrier. Free phone limited to 1 per line while supplies last. Customers using more than 35 gigabytes of data during billing cycle may be deprioritized during times of congestion. Offers and coverage not available everywhere. Additional terms and restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com or retailer for full details.
Your ESPN Pensacola Sports Headlines. I'm JP. For the first time in 90 days, PGA Tour Golf is back. On March 12th, the first round of the Players' Championship was played in front of spectators, with the tournament canceled that night. Since then, 13 weeks of tournaments have been lost, with numerous cancellations and postponements along the way. Prior to COVID-19, this week was supposed to be the RBC Canadian Open, which has been canceled. Next week would have been the U.S. Open, which has been moved to September. The Charles Schwab Cup was supposed to be played 3 weeks ago, but has taken the spot as the first tournament in the revised schedule that is supposed to go through early December. As a faction of NBA players hold conference calls to discuss uncertainty about restarting the season in Orlando, the NBA and NBA Players Association are agreeing on a plan that would allow players to stay home without consequences. There were 40 to 50 players on and off a conference call in the past 24 hours discussing a number of concerns centered on the restart in Orlando. But there has been no formal petitioning to the MBPA from any group wanting out of the 22-team resumption. As players have started to come to terms with the restrictive and isolated nature of the Orlando bubble, including no visitors until after the first round of the playoffs, nearly 7 weeks after the opening of mid-July training camp, there's been increased dialogue about the prudence of restarting the season for a number of players, especially those on non-championship contenders. And Rob Manfred is certain that Major League Baseball will take place this summer, but he is hopeful that it will come as a result of negotiated agreement with the MLB Players Association, a circumstance that feels unlikely in the midst of contentious, seemingly unproductive negotiations over the past few weeks. Manfred, in his 6 years as MLB commissioner, said in an interview with ESPN broadcaster Carl Ravitch on Wednesday that the league will soon provide a responsive proposal to the latest offer from the MLBPA, which consisted of a 89-game season and full prorated salaries, and that he's 100% sure there will be a season. That's your ESPN Pensacola Sports Headlines. I'm JP. For This Week in Sports History, I'm JP. In 1930, Paavo Nurmi runs a world record 6-mile time in 29 minutes 36 seconds. The current world record is now 26 minutes and 17 seconds. In the 1966 MLB Draft, New York Mets pass on Reggie Jackson to select Antelope Valley High School catcher Steve Chilcott. Reggie Jackson, or Mr. October as most of us know him, is a Hall of Famer as well as a 14-time All-Star and 2-time World Series MVP. In 1969, MLB legend Mickey Mantle gives his farewell retirement speech during Mickey Mantle Day at Yankee Stadium amongst over 60,000 people. In 1989, Wayne Gretzky wins his 9th NHL MVP trophy in 10 years. And the 2010 Stanley Cup Final at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Chicago Blackhawks edged Philadelphia Flyers 4-3 in OT for a 4-2 series win in the first championship for Chicago since 1961. That's This Week in Sports History. I'm JP.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home to hometown sports, covering the biggest high school games. UWF football, catching every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Plus, local sports commentary with the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. And weekend sports talk with Davis Allen and Justin Patrick on the Sports Call. We are local. We are ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Father's Day is right around the corner, and from the first ballpark fraying together to that game-winning touchdown where you looked at him and said, "I love you, man," we want you to show us your pics. I know that didn't sound right, but really, over the next few weeks, send in that pic with your dad by messaging ESPN Pensacola 1330 on Facebook. Then on Thursday, June 18th at 5 on the Sports Drive, we'll select a random winner for a new Tissot watch from Jewelers Trade Shop. Send in a pic with Pops, and you can win a watch. That's simple. And this year, our sports memories with the family just seem a little bit bigger than ever.
Disney Plus.
We are back on a Thursday afternoon, and we'll get to your calls immediately. And let's check in with Maurice in Mobile, Alabama. Hello, Maurice.
Hey, Paul. How are you today?
I'm quite well.
I've been listening to the show.
Thank you.
I just caught the edge of it, and I caught the last commentator that you had on, and I believe he said, "Damn the torpedoes, let's play football." And the reason why I'm calling is because, that statement was actually cribbed in the Battle of Mobile Bay, which you may or may not know, by a Confederate admiral, I believe, Raphael Sims. And why that is important, I think, today is because that statue was just taken down in Mobile earlier this week.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, due to, all of the movement going on, which, I wanted to comment on it because I understand what's going on to some degree. I obviously do not understand it completely because I'm not an African American. But my fear is that if we destroy our history completely, then we will not have statements like that, so no one will know where they come from. And then, of course, obviously, the greater danger is that we will repeat the history because we don't know what will happen. I think that's why we also have the Holocaust Museum in D.C. It's not because, we want to look at all the horrific atrocities that occurred, but it's to remember them so we don't make that same mistake.
No, that is, Maurice, that is, and having been to so many of those museums, I would agree with you. You sit there and you wonder, how could this have happened? And then you understand history better. And a lot of people allowed it to happen. And in many parts of the world, terrible atrocities continue. Hey, thank you for the call. I appreciate that very much. Andre is on the phone, and you're next. Hey, Andre.
Coach Paul Feinbaum. Thanks for taking my call, Coach. That was a powerful statement that young man just gave, and it was a lot of truth to it. Look, I listened to Ryan McGee earlier, man, and that was just a powerful, powerful statement that the young man made. But you and I know, Coach, that he's going to start to get hate mail for this. It's sad, but it is true. And he was just speaking from the heart, but the man's going to receive a lot of hate mail behind this. And, just like you get a lot of hate mail, Coach, because people don't like you speaking the truth. But as always, Coach Feinbaum, thanks for taking my call, and I'll listen to your comment off there.
Thank you very, very much, Andre. Jeff is up next in Ohio. Hey, Jeff.
How you doing, Paul?
Jeff, doing great. Thank you.
Hey, I just had to call that gentleman who called, that was the school teacher that talked about saying just friends and don't put labels on things.
Right.
That was a tremendous phone call. And you know what it reminded me of was one of the most powerful guests you've had in the last couple weeks was Jay Harris from ESPN. I commented and complimented him.
He was fantastic.
And he's basically saying the same thing. Get out and quit. And this has been my critique and complaint in general about politics in the last 20, 30 years. Why do we have to put labels on everybody? Why can't we be just Americans? Why can't we just be friends, co-workers, co-athletes? The whole labeling thing, I know why it's done. It's because people want it to be done so they have a say and some power. But it's time to get rid of all the labels, and let's just be friends and people and basically all be Americans, is my opinion. I think if we all live that way, we'll get rid of most of this situation. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you on the political part. I mean, politics isn't something that it's not an ideology, it's a profession. And it's a rather disgusting profession, if you ask me. But yeah. I was being interviewed by somebody today about politics, and he said, how do you weave the line on the program? I said, I don't subscribe to an ideology on this show because, I find them both equally offensive.
Yeah. I just really am getting, and I think we're putting more labels on people because I think like I say, it's easier to talk about your personal agenda if you label other people and fit them into a pigeonhole them, into that label. And I think that's where a lot of our problems are. But, hey, I heard your boy I-Man call in earlier today. I feel sorry for the boy. He's got some game, obviously. He's been around the game a long time. But the poor guy just can't help himself, can he? He can't call in and not bring up old Jim, can he?
Yeah, I've tried to work with I-Man. I've offered counseling, and it just doesn't seem like he can overcome that.
Now, I think you need to talk more with him about music and stuff, because if he starts talking about music, he seems to forget about Jim. I don't know. I mean, do you think it's a little bit of jealousy about Jim, or what do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, once we get outside of his comfort zone, which is Woodstock in '69,
right.
I mean, we have nowhere else to go.
No, I don't understand it, man. I think he's got a lot to offer when he just stays away, but he just can't help himself sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, he's really good at the greatest drummers in rock history, Woodstock.
Right.
I guess, The Who, I don't know.
Cover bands.
Yeah.
I mean, but anyway, hey, Paul, real quick. If let's just say, like at Ohio Stadium, they let 40,000 people in. How many do you think they'll get for the first game or two if they're allowed to put 40,000? You think there's going to be a sellout of whatever the maximum is?
Yeah. I think people want to go back to college football games, and I am now of the opinion we are going to see fans in pretty reasonably good numbers. I didn't think that a few weeks ago. Hey, thanks. Great to have you on. Another hour to go. Michael Collins in the final hour, as well as your phone calls, and we are coming right back.
Every home has things it needs, things that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app, order it online with the push of a button, and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
From First Take.
For your Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. Great news for high school football as well as other sports as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis seems confident we will have a full season. This is so important for our kids, particularly those that are going to be seniors, DeSantis said. They need to be playing. I'm convinced it'll be something that is safe to do. We should absolutely assume a full high school football season. On the heels of that statement, Escambia County School District Superintendent Malcolm Thomas announced that high school student athletes can begin summer conditioning June 15th. In our recruiting spotlight this week, JoJo Blackman, senior wide receiver for the Escambia Gators. Blackman's route running is second to none, and his moves in the open field can be absolutely stunning. The three-star prospect is ranked as the 90th recruit in Florida. Last year, Blackman had 49 receptions for almost 900 yards and 12 touchdowns. He has 11 offers, which include Kentucky, Tennessee, and Troy, just to name a few. If you get a chance to catch him on Friday night this season, you won't be sorry. This young man can flat out ball. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies, and rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, for a man age 45 non-tobacco user, it's $1 million of coverage at $75 per month, level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
I loved playing high school sports. I loved the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Florida did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
This message presented by the Florida High School Athletic Association and the Florida Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Imogen and I started Jewelers Trade Shop in 1956.
Our goal at Jewelers Trade Shop has always been to give our customers the best experience imaginable. It's something that my grandfather instilled in my father, and without a doubt, my father has passed on to me. Those basic core goals and values that shaped our business 56 years ago are still very much alive and a driving force behind Jewelers Trade Shop today.
For 3 generations, the story continues. Jewelers Trade Shop in downtown Pensacola.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gulick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Unless you were driving. Well, today we're going to get to more on NASCAR, a big day yesterday at Martinsville. And we'll also get to more on Major League Baseball, as Rob Manfred said 100% we're in. That'll just be 45 meetings later.
Has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin. Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr. Both been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold. Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Berliante alongside JP. You can catch him on Talk Football with Coach K each and every afternoon from 12 to 1. And JP, how's your day going?
Not bad.
Collared shirt, man. You're
it's rare.
Moving on up right here. I was going to say,
rare.
it is very rare, right?
I don't know. I just like this polo, I guess. One of those days.
You know, I've never worked with somebody, though, in broadcasting and radio, which, honestly, in radio, and everybody that watched the show knows this, during the whole time during the quarantine, it was pretty much like the Sopranos jackets, you know, the zipper Patriot hoodie without a shirt underneath, which isn't a good look for anybody, but when you don't have to go out and do a lot of things, that was the look. I mean, semi-homeless a lot of times. But right now, you know, getting out and about, having to do little things, you know, here and there, a little bit different. But to see you in a collared shirt today, man, just stepping it up. And I like it. It looks nice, right?
What can I say?
Is that a Belk shirt, by the way?
No, it's not.
It is not. Okay, It looks like it.
I actually got this at BJ's. It's an ISOD shirt.
Oh,
it's
I don't need
14. No.
BJ's.
Yeah.
The place.
Yeah, it's $14. ISOD, $14.
Yeah.
I'm in.
They do half-off pizzas on Monday too. Oh, different. Okay.
Different.
Well, when it comes down to Major League Baseball, they have made the decision.
Is there such a thing now?
100%. 100%. Rob Manfred pretty much told Carl Ravitch. Hey, Ravitch was he was grilling him. You could tell that
Ravitch has been perturbed during this whole shutdown. He doesn't like doing KBO. That's the reason he's mad. He's been doing KBO baseball.
Well, and anybody out there listening to this, don't take offense to it. It's a real thing for some people. Doesn't mean everybody. But he's got little man syndrome. He's got that.
That's true.
He's that guy. Like Tim Kirchin's the opposite. He's like, well, today I love the Padres. And you're like, yeah, we love you, Tim. You've been doing it for like 70 years. Carl Ravitch was ticked last night after the draft. And he's talking, you know, and even though we joke around with a lot of the players and these athletes, most people that you joke with in sports, if you actually met them in public, there's a very, very, very small chance that you say what you think in your brain. For instance, for me, it would be A-Rod. Greg Litton always talks about when he played with him in Seattle. But A-Rod and J-Lo, it's a pretty decent combo right there. And if I saw them in downtown Miami at like a club, they probably have 4 or 5 bouncers named Bubba. But around them, more than likely, JP, I'm not walking up to them and being like, listen, punk. You know, like, first off, cuffs are behind me and things like that. But you're not going to go down that path. You'll probably be like, hey, you know what? It's good to see you. If he actually reached out to shake your hand, you'd probably be like, oh, my gosh, A-Rod's shaking my hand. And I'm about to hug J-Lo. And he's like, I didn't offer that.
That's true.
But overall, we need to understand that most of the way you look at your fans, even the people that berate LeBron James was down here, by the way. I might have some inside, but he was down here 2 months ago, down here at Andrews Institute. And if LeBron's out there grabbing tacos, he was actually grabbing some tacos right down the road. But if somebody stopped there, even if they were like, they hated the Cavs, they don't agree with LeBron's opinions on politics, think about it. I mean, you were sitting there at lunch, LeBron James a couple seats away, and I could be like, politics.
LeBron.
Let me get my 2-for-1s. Enchiladas. Like,
depends on what taco, too, though. May depend on the
almost everybody would be like, oh, my God, it's LeBron James.
It's true.
If he walked by you, you'd say something. You'd be like, oh, hey, good to see you, LeBron. Like, that's the kind of stuff that people need to understand is that's not the way that most people judge. So Rob Manfred, when he talks about this, 100%, we're in. Look, if Rob Manfred came up here, I would still be like, hey, that's awesome. But Carl was grilling this guy like he was some sideshow hobo, the guy that you have to give the quarter to move like a robot on the side of the street. And he finally got he got out of his element because guys get paid that much usually don't go far and beyond. They usually are like, well, this is the answer I'm going to give you, and it's going to be very political. And instead, he gave the answer like, listen, Carl, we're going to play baseball. And then Carl looked back at him and was like, what percent do you make? And he goes, 100%. And then they took that and ran with it. And I was watching it live. Did you see when he said that?
I went back and watched the video of it. I didn't see it live. And the one thing I will say is, good for him, sure, you know, whatever. Right now, it doesn't. I don't believe 100%, but you better be careful nowadays. Talking about being politically correct, you better be careful saying 100%. I'm just gonna say, I guarantee you, after that, when he said 100%, he got a phone call, and you know who it was? Roger Goodell. He's like, bro, no. Trust me when I say this. Don't be saying stuff like that.
But out of everybody in baseball, that by saying that, because we're taking things from like guys that have been retired 20 years. What does from the 1908 New York Knickerbockers feel about the protest? Be like, how's that guy alive? Like, overall, by him saying this, it is the one mouth you want to hear it from, though, because he can ultimately make that decision. And now it's all on him. And usually, like I said, the PR kind of answers, we're going to have baseball, but how long is it going to be? Who knows? They've gone back and forth over little pennies. And like you said, you have one guy that's been doing an awesome job. Jeff Passan has been on top of everything. And
bless his soul this offseason. He deserves double whatever he's making right now.
He's worked about 6 times as hard as Scott Boras, and Scott Boras made $1 billion pretty much.
And there's been no baseball, and he's worked harder than ever. That's the crazy thing about it.
And he has the demeanor of the kind of guy that no matter what story he gives you, he could be telling you about bereavement papers, or he can tell you just won a new house from Publishers Clearance House with a check, and he does it with the same face. Grandma, let me tell you a little bit about Jerry. He's passed. And then he can also be like, you, sir, I know you just lost your job. Your family's been furloughed. $5 billion. And, like, he does it with the same, you're like, oh, whoa, balloons start flying. Like, that's the kind of guy he is. And I think we need to understand, though, that baseball is going to come back, but we have no clue. Minor League Baseball, Blue Wahoo season has been already, Quint and Rishi, amazing people, and they're going to take a huge hit. But Blue Wahoo season is not happening. Yesterday they did bingo night. Night before they did movie night. They're going to do so much for the community. They're going to fireworks, whatever it is. People can put their tents out there. Well, I can't guarantee that, but overall, I'm giving them cut it off.
Now
right
people
here.
are going to be mad. They're going to bring their tent.
If you're bringing a tent,
please don't bring your tent yet.
Don't bring your tent. All right,
call first.
So a blanket, but people can go out there and the fireworks aren't happening except Pensacola Beach, so it won't matter. But overall, whatever you're doing out there, they're going to have so much over the next couple months. Baseball's not going to be one of them. But for Major League Baseball, they will play in the next couple months. And it's a shame, though, that the other...
Will they? We hope.
The sad part is the other leagues, you would think, you and I with common sense. You're like,
that's a dangerous thing.
Don't compare me to you like with common sense. Okay. Common sense would say out of the 4 major sports, baseball would be the easiest one to figure out, right?
I would agree.
The other 3 have already set their leagues, and they're set in stone. NFL just sort of like smiles at people, but they're set. I mean, we're good. But for NHL, 24 teams, NBA, 22, JP, this is getting out of control. Major League Baseball, on the day of their draft last night where they owned it, that could have been the announcement. That could have been the coup de grace. They could have made that announcement and made a big deal of it, and instead they've buried themselves deeper.
Yeah, I've been one of the – remember, I always talk about on Talk Football trying to be positive, bring positive stories and things like that because it's so easy to find negative no matter what. I mean, nowadays, but just in general. And I've said from, weeks ago or whatever that we're going to have a baseball season. And I still believe we are, but I'm not as easy to come out and just purely say, yeah, we're going to have one. They're going to figure it out. I don't know. I just don't know because it comes down to you want to look at numbers. Do the owners have the money? Well, some I will say yes, some I will say no, but I don't know anymore just because this is so back and forth and this is, these guys just beating their chest and puffing their chest out on both sides. But I don't know.
850-623-1330. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, who's this?
This is Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
I have to say, what up? I feel like Jeter with the draft pick last night, I actually got a little frustrated about it, but I'm not going to judge him because he's picking the draft because he is the president of baseball. I know they have Michael Hill as the general manager, but probably Jeter get the final straw. I would have gone with the kid from Texas A&M, Ace Lacy. I feel like the Minnesota kid, it's just something doesn't feel right. I mean, a guy comes from Minnesota, born in Minnesota. I mean, it's so much harder to make it as a major league pitcher out of either the Northeast. I mean, there's only been like a few pitchers that I count on. Rick Porcello, who was on the Red Sox World Series team. I mean, he's from New Jersey. It doesn't even get nearly as cold as Minnesota and stuff. And I'm repeating myself, but I've been calling well. I feel like baseball, yes, it's doing horrible stuff with the no players, but I feel like it's easy for hockey, basketball, football, because they've already played about 80% of the game. I know that sounds very redundant and stuff, but I'm just going to keep giving them a pass because I'm just a lifer, like maybe hopefully y'all are. And I think the sports are fortunate. They could have easily, and I'm just going to make this short and sweet, they could have easily shut down sports in December, Chad, and just, you can respond to that, but it could have happened. So appreciate it, Chad. Have a good day.
You too, Jeff, and respect the heck out of Jeff's calls, and we've always talked about it. And he's Florida man. He's the guy that wears the orange. Yeah, he is. He talks Panthers hockey, and he'll always have an open call. We'll immediately go to that. He'll be the guy that I'll go a couple minutes late, unless it's 6 o'clock like Chris yesterday.
Yeah, I saw his number pop up. That's why I was like,
I was going to say, yeah, he always has an open floor. That's the one thing. Call in. 850-623-1330 is the number. We talk a lot. I talk a lot. You know that. But if you guys have anything, if you have anything to say and you want to weigh in on this, we don't have to make it the Feinbaum Show, but you can call in at any time and we'll put you on. And you'll be talking on TV and radio.
I do.
If you send in the face, we could do the whole, look, we have access to the whole, like Daryl in Georgia, where if you're a regular caller, send in your pick. Put you on TV. We can do that. But what I'll tell you is that if you're sitting there right now, and what Jeff said about making Major League Baseball, the other two had it going on, that's a point. But at the same time, I would disagree because those teams right now have to figure things out in the middle of the season. And that's not cool at all for anybody. Think about it. You just left 8 teams. You pretty much, what the NBA just did was separate 8 teams from the league in the regular season. Think about that. We live in a time where everything's about equality, which it should be. But the regular season's about everybody equally gets as many games, even if you stink. And you just cut 8 teams out of that to make 22 teams get to play in Disney. That's not an easy decision to make. Think about it, because we sit here in Pensacola, Florida. But imagine if you're in Sacramento, Atlanta. Some of you had to get a guy named Killer Mike to get up there and yell at people like this is not. Imagine Atlanta that wants to watch, that's been waiting for basketball, and you have to tell their whole fan base, no, you know what, you just missed the cut. What do you mean missed the cut? The regular season's coming back, right? Yeah, we're just going with 22. Imagine telling everybody in that city. You're talking about metropolitan cities of millions of people that you told the whole fan base, the trolls and everybody online, that you're not going to come back to play this year for them. That's a bold move, Cotton. That is not easy. So for everybody to say that it's easier, frankly, Major League Baseball is starting from scratch. Nobody's missed a game. Everybody's on the equal playing field. It should be easier to say, cut our season in half, let's go ahead and play ball, compared to the decisions both the NHL and the NBA have made have been very tough decisions. People have been sweating it out, I'm sure, with protests over cities that are going to be irate that they can't go out there and play.
But at the same time, I understand where Jeff's coming from because, and you know what, personally, yes, the NBA, listen, the NBA, if they canceled their season, guess what? They still play the majority of their games. NHL, if they decided, you know what, we can't make it happen, they cancel the rest of their games. And their season's coming up soon anyway, in a few months. Baseball, I think it is tougher than what meets the eye because a couple things here. One, you're talking about, you don't have to make those decisions kicking teams out. I get that. But the NBA, it's not that hard to kick those teams out solely because of if they want to go right now, they're like, well, we've already played these games. Okay, you guys weren't even close. And if you're Atlanta or, you know, what you're the whoever, you're just like, well, you know what? I don't agree with it, but I understand it. But for Major League Baseball, they have not started their season, and we're in the middle of June. And so now you run the risk of, if you didn't even start your season and you're in June right now, you got to get something going because you haven't even started. You haven't. You still got to get playoffs in there because you're not just going to play a few games and say, all right, guys, go home. We'll see you in spring, or we'll see you, in February. That's where I think I understand where he's coming from. I think this is tough for everybody because of the limitations that you're held to because of the coronavirus, and different states are doing different things, and everybody's against everybody. This state says, yes, we can do it. This state says, no, we're not doing it, and we're bringing in politics to everything here, so therefore it's not that easy for anybody. But I think it is kind of tough right now. I agree with you on the outside looking in for Major League Baseball, but when you really break it down, they haven't even started their season, where if the NBA, people wouldn't agree with it, but at the NBA, a lot of people were thinking at one point, this is over. The season's over.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a perfect answer to any of this, but I feel like the restaurant or the bar that was about to open back in February, and they had people like sign their contracts, shook their hands, but it wasn't open yet, they have an easier access now than the ones like we used to do shows at 200 South and World of Beer that have 40 employees that half of them maybe got furloughed, half of them didn't. Who's going to work the bar again? Did they quit, move to another job? Are they still going to? There's so many moving pieces. We always look at the focus of the broad entities, but the NBA and NHL has so many moving parts to it. And the thing is, we're not talking about small minutes. We're not talking about individuals that are making a couple thousand.
Yikes.
We're talking about we're talking about a couple people that have a chance to make a difference. And that's the difference. And right now, currently, they have not been able to make the difference for Major League Baseball. We'll come back for more. It's a Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola and Blab TV.
Economic development, better schools, law enforcement, and public safety. Just a few of the issues that are on the minds of residents of Santa Rosa County. Twice a month, we take the time to recap the news events that shape and resolve the issues that affect our daily lives. Join us tonight for Focus on Santa Rosa, a 30-minute look back at the past 2 weeks of local news coverage by ESPN's sister station, News Radio 92.3 AM 1620. Focus on Santa Rosa, tonight at 8 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
I'm Mina Kimes, host of ESPN Daily. Each morning, we bring you a deep dive into a single story from one of ESPN's hundreds of reporters. It's the best of ESPN Daily. ESPN Daily is presented by Marathon. Now, more than ever, we have to look out for each other and count on each other. Marathon wants you to know that you can count on them for high-quality, top-tier gas. Wherever you need to go, the people at Marathon are behind you all the way. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Hey guys, I know there's a lot going on right now in the world, and we're all shopping online. I just saw that AT&T started doing 2 really helpful things for those who want to buy a new phone or device online. They're offering fast, free, no-contact delivery and curbside pickup, so that online shopping is as simple and safe as possible. On top of that, they have a flexible return policy, so you can shop at ease. You can visit att.com to learn how to shop online from the safety of your home 24/7. Subject to change, restrictions apply.
The year was 1919. Barbasol shaving cream was invented by a dreamer named Frank Shields. The world's first modern shave cream, Barbasol changed the face of shaving forever. A few billion shaves later, Frank's dream lives on. Behind every face is a dream. Barbasol proudly salutes every fearless, self-assured, wide-eyed dreamer all across America. Celebrating 100 years. Barbasol.
An auto
policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
The latest news and sports can be heard on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Get the latest news and football on Talk Football with Coach K. Daily sports talk on your drive home on The Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. And a recap and look ahead of the sports week on Sports Call with Davis and Justin every Saturday. Plus, national sports radio talk on Golic and Wingo, The Dan Lebertard Show with Stu Gotts, and The Paul Feinbaum Show. It all lives on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brilliante having some fun with you alongside JP. Collared shirt. Looking forward to getting to everything here. Martinsville yesterday, some racing. Martin Truex Jr. gets the win right there.
My dog.
Is that your dog right there?
Yeah. Finally.
You call him Junior?
No, I don't.
Nothing wrong with that, right?
No, probably not. Well, you say junior, you always think.
I know. I did, Dale. Well, there's like 1,000 juniors in
Truex, pretty big guy.
What family, if you had to win the battle of the families in racing? Petty's, Andretti's, that right? Kids book. Petty's, Andretti's.
The
Allisons. I would have to put, you got to put even though probably the Wallaces.
Even the Burtons now. You go.
Yeah, the Burtons are up there. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Bushes. I mean, there's enough of them out there.
Trickle.
The Trickles. I don't know. Richard Trickle the third. I don't know. At this, the Marlins. No. Overall, which one wins it? I think you got to go with the Earnhardts. I think just because of the power of the two. Andretti's and IndyCar will probably win it because there's like 8,000 Andretti's, and I live in an Italian family, and I know it's like, you got like Bob Andretti. You didn't even know. You're like, we called you Robert.
We didn't even mention the Waltrips.
We called you. Yeah, that's true.
God, I forgot about the Waltrips. How dare
the Irvings? There's a lot of. But imagine though, like we called you Roberto at birth. And like, I'm Bob Andretti now. Live out in Idaho. Good. They have a ton though. It's like the Kennedys when it comes to politics. The Andrettis are like the Kennedys. There's like 1,000 of them out there. A lot of them came down here to Five Flags. Nemecheks, we got a lot of them out there.
Labonte?
Yeah, not a bad one right there.
Terry and Bobby.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and...
Ooh, the Jarrett.
By the way, I assume this, but is Chase Elliott the son of Bill? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is? Okay, good. That's what I'm saying. Like, you assume the names. It's a pretty common name
Usually,
right there.
If it's the same one as somebody before, probably following right in there.
Dale Jarrett's got his son out there racing. Like, there's a lot of them out there.
Well,
so
Dale Jarrett has his dad, Ned.
Yeah.
That raced before. You had the Wood brothers. I mean, that's the
now
thing.
We're back. The Unsers. Now we're going. Overall, I would have to go with, though. I'm going to go with the Earnhardts, though. Is that a fair? Or the Andretti's? It's got to be.
I don't.
Looks like we're going
on
a
think
path.
But I don't think there's a wrong answer because to certain people it goes back before. With the Pettys and everything and what they did, then you can go back to the Wood brothers and all that. You can go back to the Labontes. Once again, it's the Jarretts. I mean, Wallace's one of the most respected. Then you have the Waltrips.
You like the Woods, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think this is sort of a path we're taking is like when you do those crash dummies against the wall, is there a winner? If your car actually like passes the safety rating, then you win. Like, well, the Honda really looked nice on that wall right there. Be like, did they survive? Be like, yeah. Did the other one survive? Yeah. there's no winner. You either survive or you don't. So yeah, I would have to say there's a lot of good families. I'm going to go with the Earnhardt. So that's probably fair. Looking at the
at Dale Jr. Party, that was pretty fun.
Ray Cicerelli, a guy that probably a lot of you thought owned a pizza joint before this. I didn't know that he was a racer, and we follow a lot of it. I mean,
a lot of people did.
I don't think anybody did, actually, personally. But he made a comment, and now he's more famous than ever. He then reverted back to saying he did it because of the kneeling and not because of the Confederate flag. I don't know which one is gaining him any brownie points at this point. I don't think he's not picking one path that's going to make him look better in the media right now. But overall, like we said yesterday, it's a bold move by NASCAR to do this. I regardless of how you think, NASCAR, you just say it how it is. Sometimes you need to hear it. You're not using any brain cells if you think NASCAR is the type of sport that it was easy for them to make that choice. Think about it. NBA basketball, there are plenty of places that it's very easy to make that choice. NASCAR? You've been to a NASCAR race? I've been to about 40. No thanks. That's not an easy choice for them to say no Confederate flag. But a lot of people are right. I've talked to a lot of people that are still going to the race. I've actually talked today to about 4 people that bought about 4 or 5 flags. That's up to them. Is there a personal choice? This is I'm like the blackjack dealer. No more bets. I'm done at that point. It's none of my business. Doesn't affect my life, my family's life. We're going to sing and dance to Moana tonight. But, JP, it's just going to mean all those RV worlds, and we've been to all of them. Talladega's got about 4 or 5. But everybody outside of the track, because you Google it yesterday about the what they're going to do, and anything inside the premise, pretty much you're not going to be able to have the flag. But there's about 500 different things happening outside of it at the RV parks and everything outside in the fields. That guy that owns it for its $20 parking, those flags are going to probably be coming out more than ever. So it's not going away for people that think it's going away. And frankly, I think we spend so much time in society, and even with us, and really one of the big reasons we're even talking about this is because there's no sports. I mean, no main sports. How dare you say that? MLS starts in a week. None of the 4 major sports are going on. And college football, when it comes back, none of these conversations will happen. We need to understand, though, that I could care less. And when I say I can care less, it doesn't mean I can care less about people and their personal attitude or what I believe is right. Because my opinion doesn't matter if Billy Joe wants to go hang 15 flags outside the stadium. It won't matter at all. And if a guy that looks like Jersey Shore pulled up and tried to tell him that, it'd be even worse. Probably take a full beer to the head. Not one of those good ones that I can drink later. 12 proof. One of those ones that you get for about 30 cents. Mickey's Ice. I'm just saying right now, we need to understand that nothing we say is going to change any of this. But frankly, walk right by it if it's outside the stadium. If I see more stories about every place around every park needs it, then why don't you do the same thing right now tonight with a clipboard like a Jehovah's Witness and go door to door and walk on that guy with the cut-off sleeves right now with the eye patch and say, sir, I need you to take your flags outside your house. And the answer is, get off my lawn in 30 seconds. And that's being nice. So I don't understand why people need to act like NASCAR made a statement. And it was a bold statement. And I think it's a good thing going forward. But overall, people that are still trying to fight, stop pushing it. Stop pushing the label. Stop pushing the label and just accept what we have. I've heard so many people, if they put them around the stadium, I'm not going. Then don't go. Because people will, and it's going to come out in full force.
Well, we'll see because NASCAR.
It will.
But NASCAR hasn't said how they're going to completely prohibit this because it says
there's nothing they can do about the house across the street though that has 50 flags.
But the RV where all the RVs park inside the area there,
that they can ban that.
Right, and that's fine.
But there's RV. You've been to races. We've both been to races,
absolutely,
so we know this.
But
Daytona's got about 15 different allotments.
Again, it's a tremendous step, whether you agree or you disagree with it.
I agree with that.
I personally, and this is coming from somebody that grew up around the Confederate flag. It was not. I never once I have seen it used negatively. I will say that, honestly. I have seen that people, the things that they have said and whatever, waving the flag, and it's sad. But at the same time, I know what the flag means to a lot of people. I know what it means to other people, and that's the difference. It doesn't represent racism per se, but it was a part of it. Let's just you can't ignore it in the history of it. But so once again, this is a person that I grew up around in areas that the Confederate flags were flying, and it wasn't in a negative context for the majority of the people, but there were some people, and it comes down to this: they're not banning you from flying it in your home. They're not banning you from wearing a T-shirt, walking around, or whatever. If that's what you want to do, you can put it on the back of your truck, as you see sometimes people driving around with it on there. You can put a sticker on the back that's a Confederate flag. That's all well and good. The country has not banned you from waving this flag. Let's make that clear as well. This is NASCAR at their races, and if it really bothers you to that extent, then just don't go, like you said. I think it's as simple as that. If it makes people feel more comfortable to go to a race, truly, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, why not be more welcoming? I don't know. Once again, I'd love to hear from more people.
Yeah.
If it truly makes you feel better, if this was something that you worried about, or maybe not necessarily kept you away, but kind of just to turn the other way at a sport like NASCAR. Let's be honest. If you've never been to a NASCAR race, if you've never been to Five Flags before, don't knock it until you go. If you go and then you leave there and you're like, that was stupid. Okay, sure, because not everybody's going to like it. It's one of the most exhilarating sports around. I mean, you go to Talladega. If you've never been to Talladega, that is a trip. Well, that's before you even get in the track with the people that are around there tailgating. But 200 miles an hour around a 2.5-mile track, unbelievable. I mean, absolutely unbelievable. Five Flags, so much fun. One of the fastest. It is one of the fastest half-mile tracks in our country. That's why all the big people want to race here. That's why the Snowball Derby is so popular. We get NASCAR drivers all over, the Bushes and stuff coming out here. Chase Elliott's, all kinds of guys, Nemechek's. They always come out here. It's so much fun. And that's what, you know what? Anything that is for change to be able to bring people together, for me personally, let's go for it. Because is it change the way I look at it? Is it truly changing the way I live my life? No, it's not for me. I speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for somebody else. But for me, it's not. So let's do it.
Which is what is funny is, even though I agree with what you're saying, sports, and when it comes to acting, we care so much. We're infatuated with what they wear, what they drive, what they do. Probably not us. If you care like what I drive, I mean, like, I watch it every day, man. I've got stopped yesterday at Target. Guys, like, really appreciate it. He pulled down the mask to say it. He was like, watch your show every day. I was like, appreciate it. But no,
appreciate what you drive.
That's right there. I was buying like a Paw Patrol DVD. But all of this stuff was what I'm saying right now, though, is you're going to laugh at this, but it should be the exact same thing. If you go to a NASCAR event, we care about the flag outside the stadium. And if it's a flag of somebody racing, it's even worse. But think about it. Tonight, you're going through that place that's billion served, getting a double cheese. It's their property. You pull up in the car, and your family's hungry. You just got done with your Little League game. Happy to be back out there. Got 5 kids in the back of the car. Some of them want to get the toy. Grimace and all those guys. Now you know where it is. And you walk inside, and you want to get that meal because you know it's cheap, and they get the Happy Meal with it. You walk inside that building, not one of you, 100% not one of you is going to say, before I order this for everybody in here, which one of you beeps has a car outside with the Confederate flag underneath your bumper sticker? Can anybody in here, please, sitting down to have dinner tonight with your family, let me know as well, which one of you has that bumper sticker I disagree with? As he dips the ketchup and the guy looks at him like, why is this guy yelling at my family? Because we don't care. You're there to get a burger. You're there to get fries, a shake, a mixed salad if you're that dude. And you move on and you go home. You are there to watch a race. And when I'm saying this, I agree that if I had the path to take, I wouldn't put him inside the stadium. But in the parking lot in lot 15, if you can't walk by that, Now, if people like an old hoodlum game, like the old movie right there, what's the old Clockwork Orange? What's the old one where they beat the crap out of people with sticks in the middle of the road? You know what I'm talking about? There's I had to watch Birth of the Nation. We had to watch all those back in the day. But one of the movies, the old school one there, I think it is Clockwork Orange. And like gangs come down the street and beat you with sticks because they don't agree with you. If that's the case, then I'm going to be out there with you right now protesting. But if you can't walk by lot 15 without posting and making a huge deal that you'll never go to a race again, there's something wrong with your brain. Just keep walking into the stadium to watch your racer. And once again, all this being said, I agree that it's with the people saying, with Bubba Wallace, what he said. But I'm telling you, if you're that offended by somebody 15 lots away because you see a flag, you're taking already the wrong path in life. You become that person. And there's a reason nobody picks up your cell phone calls. We're coming back for more. It's Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
Gulf Breeze Chiropractic and Acupuncture is now open at 3481 Gulf Breeze Parkway and is providing care for all ages from newborn to seniors. They offer manual or instrumental adjusting. Dr. Sheila Decker at Gulf Breeze Chiropractic offers acupuncture, therapy, custom orthotics, as well as MVA, workers' comp, and PI. To schedule your appointment today, call Gulf Breeze Chiropractic and Acupuncture at 850-903-1708 or visit online gulfbreezechiro.com.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hello, my name is Donald Dellinger, CEO of Comeback Restoration. We use a state-of-the-art cure system proven to destroy harmful bacteria and viruses, helping defend your home or business against coronavirus. We also specialize in fire, water, smoke, mold remediation. Comeback Restoration is certified IICRC firm. Give us a call today, 850-530-5732. That's 850-530-5732. Or go to our website, comebackrestoration.com. Turning your setback into a comeback. God bless.
Hey guys, I know there's a lot going on right now in the world, and we're all shopping online. I just saw that AT&T started doing two really helpful things for those who want to buy a new phone or device online. They're offering fast, free, no-contact delivery and curbside pickup so that online shopping is as simple and safe as possible. On top of that, they have a flexible return policy so you can shop at ease. You can visit att.com to learn how to shop online from the safety of your home 24/7. Subject to change, restrictions apply.
Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team we will get through these difficult times. And together we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and we start real slow. You just put your lips together and you come real close. Can you blow my whistle, baby,
Songs about whistles, right? Welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola. See if we judge everything, I'm just saying. How dare you play a song? It's not Friday. Welcome back, Sports Drive. I like that song, by the way. 850-623-1330 is now. Actually, the best thing I heard,
was driving back home yesterday, Sarah Spain. And look, just because they're all ESPN, we're all part of the brethren of the group. You work at a place like Lowe's or Home Depot doesn't mean you get along with everybody. I'm going to stop right there. But driving back around 7:45, and the best thing I heard was a guy that got on there and pretty much said, you know what? You're not going to all agree with what people have to say, but if you go into it and there's even that little piece of you that feels like something you're about to do physically is wrong, then don't do it. I was like, that's fair. For both sides, for any side. Like I said, I was very proud, and so are you. And it's gone on way too long. I got this list here that I made. I want to get to this right now. But we all sat there, and we understand that the protests and things, peaceful protests by the bridge was great. The guy today, the guy that is going to get charged with damaging the vehicle, the one that blocked the car, which he was wearing white socks with long pants. You don't wear, that's a rule. You don't even need to, you know what I'm saying. If you're going to go out,
not get in this.
You should get into this conversation. You've taken Autumn to
I'm not going to get into what this guy's wearing. I don't.
Well, no. This should be a rule across the board for bros here. Okay, so I invite you to a gala and you're in suit and tie and you show up with white socks, with tennis shoes, with a suit, you better get mocked. You're not? You're okay with that? You're okay with that? I'm just asking you that right now. Yeah, it's okay to make fun. The tennis shoes is irrelevant, but it's okay to judge that, right? We make fun of each other all the time with stuff. I have a Redskin shirt right here, folks. Look at this. I was going to wear it for Joe Theismann right here. Look at this. Let's get this camera shot in here. Yeah, Redskin shirt.
Joe Theismann coming in?
No.
Okay.
He was going to call. He called back and he's not going to. But just saying right now that guy got hit by the car. He's going to get charged with all that. But the best thing was, if you know going into it you're going to tick off a ton of people by your actions, then don't do it on either side. Peaceful protests might have personally online ticked off a lot of people, but it's the right thing to do. Blocking a bunch of people and a puppy dog died on the bridge, wrong thing. Let's get to some sports. Looking right now at ESPN recently releasing their top 10 recruits, and when it came down to Florida State has had 3 of the top 10 over the last 4 years. Not saying a lot with LeBourne, Big Marv, and then also talking about Cam Akers that everybody wanted to have. Well, they also just made a list of the top 3 defensive tackles in the game. So, we always talk about athletes and they don't have a lot. Where would you put the JP-o-meter here on Florida State having the athletes to not getting enough out of the athletes, which is more important in every sport? If you can get more out of those 3 stars, the 2 stars, and develop them like Boise State does every year. JP, 3 of the top 10 guys out there, Marvin, Durden, and Cooper, all top 10 when it comes to the defensive line next year. And if you have a good defensive line in the ACC, you should win a lot of games.
What's my ranking?
I mean, at this point, where would you put Florida State's? Because everybody says they don't have the athletes. They do have the athletes. Compared to
they've had the athletes
that they got nothing out of them. Where would you put them athletic-wise in the country right now? Are they top 25? I mean, that's a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's no question. To me.
Somebody is threw up in their mouth a little. Not because of your comment, but you're right.
I would be bold enough to say easily top 20, and you're talking about toward the upper echelon. And the reason I say this is it's so aggravating because they have so many of these athletes, and they have not been able to get anything hardly out of them. The discipline has not been there. The athleticism, these guys are great. They're not just good, they're great. They're great. And the sad thing about this is they play in the stinking ACC.
Yeah.
It's different if you got the athletes and you can't get everything you need out of them. You play in the SEC and you look poorly. They play in the ACC, for God's sakes. I'm not coming after Florida State fans. I want to make that clear because I really think this is a great move getting Norvell. Moving forward, we have Keyshawn Heltons, and we've talked about guys like that from our area that have went there. But it's a shame that they have not been able to get more out of them. If you're a Florida State fan, you ought to be shaking your head. Yes, you agree. Because the guys are there. Your offensive line shouldn't be this bad. Like, you had one of the, statistically, if you want to bring statistics or you want to bring the eye test, you had one of the worst offensive lines out of 130 FBS teams. And it's different, once again, if you're that team and you're playing in the SEC, or you're playing again, even if you're playing in the Big Ten or somebody like that. Pac-12, you had no excuse. You should be better than that. But anyway, playing in the ACC, where outside of Clemson, Virginia last year, regardless, go through the list. You still should not be that bad. And that's where I look at it. It's so frustrating for this Florida State team because, remember, my father, I grew up, he's a Florida State fan. He likes them. But it's shameful. I mean, it's a shame the level that they've been able to get out of these guys has been, well, basically nothing. And that's where I'm so hopeful on Florida State this year with bringing Norvell in. It's a culture change. That's the first thing Norvell, when he came in there, he's trying to change the culture. Buddy, that's the first thing you need to change. You need to get everybody on the same page because not only have you had one of the worst teams in quite some time to have the athletes, but look at the penalties. Look at all these things that stack up. These are things that are easily overcome, but it has to start with the coaching staff and what they're instilling in these players. That's the way I look at this. That's where I want to put, you know what? I'll give them a 2 out of what they got out of these guys. And I know, well, they won 6 games. Okay, that's great. But that's what I'm saying. You should be getting much more out of these guys, especially playing in the ACC.
And what you just said, I'm in a good mood right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. If you're out there watching on TV, hit that little red button to tape because you want to save this. JP's going to be excited to hear this. Got stopped by 2 people in the parking lot yesterday. Sweet pups talking about Oregon. But I'm going to say this. Oregon at least competes every year for the Pac-12 on recruits. Not Chip Kelly style, maybe some guys that C-Strunks and others. But let's go ahead and just say how it is. Nike money. They're going to be okay. Probably them and USC would be the 2 top dogs. Washington, without Chris Peterson, no thanks. As a UCF Knight fan, it's a humble moment on the show right now. I always feel like number 4. No matter what happens in the state of Florida, I grew up, my whole family, Florida Gators. My brother used to try to hit on Aaron Andrews. No chance. But they were in the same radio station together right there in Gainesville.
Poor guy.
He had no chance. Nobody did. But what we realize is between Florida, Florida State, and Miami, these are teams that consistently, in this century, have won championships. And teams that overall, if you think about it, Miami's won, Florida State's won, and so has Florida. You can break down the numbers, but even and they won them before it too. They even won more before that in the 90s. But just in this, where a lot of the teams haven't been great, Florida State, when you break it down in numbers, have won 20% of the national titles in the year 2000. Sounds a lot better that way, doesn't it? You guys we've been terrible for a while. But all of those teams are the teams that you expect if you're a 5-star. Lakeland, those guys out there taking, quote, protein shakes. I played against them. Or the guys in Tampa and Jesuit. Or the guys out in Lincoln Park in Tallahassee. If you're a sports fan and you've played the game, you know. Or down in St. Thomas Aquinas. Or Palm Bay, Florida, where I broke my collarbone against Reggie Nelson and Joe Cohen, who played for Florida, and I shouldn't have been on the field. Or the guys out there when you talk about Jacksonville Bulls, right here in our own backyard, Escambia, and the teams, every team. We actually, out of every place I've ever lived, Pensacola has a place where every team is relevant. And Catholic was terrible a couple years ago. Coach LeBounty's team. Next year, they win a title almost. Next year, you take over and you see a team go out there and they almost win it all this year, and they were bad the year before. Same thing with Pine Forest or West Florida or Escambia, or you talk about Gulf Breeze or Crestview. JP and I both have been the guys calling the games for the last 5 years in high school football. And we know. But I'll say, though, that we always feel like we're number 4. I make jokes about us fake national titles. But for a team like Florida State, You should never feel walking into that room with somebody that you're not going to get the 5-star. And it's a shame for them. I feel bad for teams that know they're that dominant, that they own the Panhandle. And they still can't win. And that's something that Florida State fans need to understand is people like us or USF doubles or whatever Taggart's doing these days at FAU or FIU and Butch Davis because of, quote, Nevin Shapiro boats, whatever that is, we all look up to everybody like that. They wore jerseys. When I walked on UCF campus, it was a Florida State shirt, Florida shirt, Miami shirt. We had shirts that said drinking school with a football problem. We just need to understand, though, that these people look up to those schools and expect more out of them. And even though we can beat them, that doesn't mean that at the end of the day that we feel like we're better than them overall, because we don't. And we always want to be them. We're not even a major conference. So on that note, let's go ahead and take a break. We got to take a break. We'll come back for more. It's the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
Welcome to Bowl! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. You know, snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at Nemea. He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
Just felt there's a huge need in Pensacola to bring foot and ankle services, specifically orthopedic foot and ankle services, to this area. There's so much growth in Pensacola. I wanted a freestanding orthopedic foot and ankle center to do this, and as far as I can tell, this is the only one really in the country that's freestanding. Most orthopedic surgeons are part of a multi-specialty group. So we offer on-site x-rays, on-site CT scan, and on-site MRI. They can come to one place.
Visit NielsenOrthopedics.com to reserve your appointment today.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes are non-transferable, non-redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other contest prize. Prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning and must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home to hometown sports, covering the biggest high school games. UWF football, catching every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Plus, local sports commentary with the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. And weekend sports talk with Davis Allen and Justin Patrick on the Sports Call. We are local. We are ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
The latest news and sports can be heard on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Get the latest news and football on Talk Football with Coach K. Daily sports talk on your drive home on the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. And a recap and look ahead of the sports week on Sports Call with Davis and Justin every Saturday. Plus, national sports radio talk on Golic and Wingo, the Dan Lebertard Show with Stu Gotts, and the Paul Feinbaum Show. It all lives on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
This is Northwest Florida's all sports, all the time station. From Destin to New Orleans, sports fans come here for ESPN and local sports talk. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를
Oh, there it is. NASCAR's new out. No, I'm just kidding. But Tommy Lasorda, his face turned. Whoopum gang, sorry. Justin Rose getting it done today at the Charles Schwab. Right there, Charles Schwab Challenge. You think they had to change their talk to Chuck kind of thing on that? Can't talk to Chuck. He was quarantined. Right? But overall, they come back. They play in Texas. Rose shooting 7 under, and not bad. How many people tuned in? We talked about it yesterday. Not to say you had to be listening in, but how many people were probably like, it's live golf on right now?
Probably thought it was a rerun.
Yeah. I've had to ask a few times. That's what it's come to. We were watching WWE the other day, and there was a full crowd, and I was like, JP, is this real? You know, I usually can make a rash decision, but I'm like, with WWE, you never know. They could have a full group out there and play. Bubba Watson, I do want to get the Lanto Griffin, by the way. Wasn't that the name of Peter Griffin's character in high school? Lando Griffin?
Yeah, Lando.
He's in dead last right now. Literally. It's Lanto Griffin, but
Lanto?
Yeah.
Let me look him up.
+7 right there.
Lanto.
He said not to do Toad. I remember that episode. But yeah, he's
Good song,
it's Lanto Griffin right there is in dead last.
Looks nothing like him. No. Not.
He looks more like.
Can we? There you go. That's him.
Looks more like me. Looking at the situation right there with
that is a situation.
Dustin Johnson got checked, by the way. He said no problem. You can stick it up the nasal cavity. I got no problem here. He got tested before. Everybody had to get tested before they played. Dustin's just like, bring it. I can't. No feeling up there. Just kidding. But well, it's not a joke. But looking right now at Bubba Watson, he finished the first round overall, and Bubba Watson is sitting currently after Justin Rose at 7 under at 2 under par, 68 right there, 5 shots off the lead. When we come back, we'll break down a little recruiting, talk a little Florida State football, and get to our most ridiculous fans overall in sports. It's all coming back on the Sports Drive.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, we'll get to more from Martinsville last night. A lot of different stories even outside the track in NASCAR. It looks like we've got a number of sports coming back, but Major League Baseball, 100% they're in. We just might have to wait about 45 more shows.
Has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Brock's been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 for Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Chad Brillante, JP on the other side of the glass. Cops was canceled, man, after 33 years. It's tough to hear. That's tough. I feel like the reruns look like they're from the 60s, but 33 years, done. I'll leave with one note because it has nothing to do with anything going on. But Cops being canceled, why would you, because everything is against police brutality, right? It is, to be fair, which no matter what skin color you are, and Black Lives Matter, we understand. It's against people who are black and equality in this country. And I'm, like I said, all for it. I understand it. There does need to be change in this country. But police brutality is a small percent. Cops, because I've watched every rerun on every single channel. They throw it on like the O network. I mean, it's on every channel. Cops has hit everything. TBS, you think you're watching the game? It's your college football. CBS, 2:30 kickoff with Gary and Brad. But before that, Cops, bad boys. And you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. No matter what channel you've seen Cops. Now, Cops is one of those shows, though, that I've watched in my lifetime. College, all that, 3 a.m. It's still on. It's one of those shows you pick. That or like another episode of Law & Order. JP, never. It's always about how ridiculous the person is that tries to convince you they're driving the car. No, man, it was the other guy. Other guy was in the car. Sir, we're in a dirt field right now, and you're the only person in the car. I think I would have seen Mr. Ghost run into that field when we had our brights on you with 2 cop cars. Nah, it was Jimbo, man. He ran. And he's in the passenger seat like this, just sitting there. 3 bottles of vodka next to him. Never once in the episode of Cops, though, did any of us, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we're not going to get into a conversation on this, but was there ever an episode, though, where you felt like the cops were out of order? Or just these guys, there's a lot of idiots in our country watching Cops. This is just a Cops conversation. The cops were always and if they weren't, I don't know who's the editor of Cops, but maybe it was cut out. I don't know. Like, I wasn't there, so I don't know all the details. But Cops is a show that promotes quality cops, which I believe most of the cops, as my friends are. There are always bad apples. But you would think if something is trying to get pushed towards, we want to make it about cops doing the right thing, that you would keep that and probably promote it more. Wouldn't you think that would be the right answer? But Cops is canceled after 33 years. That's why we're in a world today where I just sort of smile on that rocking chair with the sweet tea and just say nothing. Because I do have a voice right now, but we're all about fighting for doing the right thing. Cops promoted the cops doing the right thing with idiots they were arresting, and we've canceled the show. That's all I'll say on that. Drop my pen on that. Would you? I mean, yes or no? You agree with that? I mean, you don't have to get into my rants, but wouldn't you agree that Cops is promoting what cops should do, which I hope most people would agree? If your agenda is to cancel cops across the board, we're going to be in a scary place in a couple months.
I mean, it showed a lot of the crap they put up with.
Yes.
And
I left feeling bad for most of those people. I felt cops. I felt bad.
I do want to say something though on that note, and we talk about the police brutality, and once again, I understand everything that is going on right now, but I want to, for the people that, and then of course, there's only a few people that are coming after just pure police in all this. Those people are uneducated on what's going on, because you're saying that all the cops are bad. Like I saw in one of the people that had blocked the road, at Bayfront Parkway, that basically was talking about getting rid of police. Like, it will be a horrible, horrible day if we get rid of our police. I'm just going to say that. I think that's common sense. You don't get rid of the police. You get rid of the people that are doing the wrong. And that goes for everything, no matter if it's just police or everybody. If you got somebody doing wrong in your business, get rid of them. It's not going to end well. But anyway, I do want to make note, too, on this, too, just because these first responders, and we talk about it every day when we start the show on Talk Football, thanking our first responders and our healthcare workers, because it highlights right now during COVID-19 what they've gone through. It's been tough. Now things are getting better. I know cases are going up, but still hospitalizations, everything around here so far is so good. So we'll leave it at that. I'm not going to say it won't get bad again or anything, but what they do day in and day out goes without saying. It's a shame that during a time where COVID-19 comes about that we start to pay attention to them again.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, like after 9/11, we talked about the police officers and the fire department and all those people, how important they were. We saluted them and all this other stuff, and then it went by the wayside. Now, you may be one of those that continues to pay your respects to them, thank them all the time, do things, whatever you can. I know I have friends and family that are a part of both, so it means a little bit more to me maybe than it does to you. But I do want to say this, and I'm going to leave it at that. These people do not make very much money.
No.
To make it
all.
clear. And I know that, look, they for people out there like, well, they ain't got to do it. Well, okay, but please don't take that mindset and understand what I'm trying to say. These people put their lives on the line each and every day. No matter what first responder you are, whether even working in healthcare, you do put your life on the line each and every day. Now, obviously, some more than others. But when you look up the salaries of these people and you look at what they make, it is shocking that they go out and do it each and every day. It's so tough to understand the majority of them have families. They go out and do what they do to protect us. There's things that we don't even know, that we don't even see in the public eye, that go on behind the scenes, and thank God it's because of them doing their jobs. Now, I'm not ignoring, I want to make very clear, there are cops out there that don't do the right thing, that abuse their power. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I am saying for those cops that we are so gracious for, that do the right thing, that continue to go out there each and every day, that have done it for so long, whether former military and everything, we thank them so much. But people understand, too, these people don't make a ton of money. I know that's not an excuse for anything. I'm just saying this not on the fact of, well, the protests going on. This is completely separate. I'll make that clear.
Yeah.
This is just from the sole fact of what these guys make. It's shameful in my opinion. And once again, you don't agree with me? Fine. But the numbers are the numbers. And when you look at your job and what you're making, and they're going out there putting themselves on the line, I think they deserve a little more respect.
And that's the whole point of what you're saying is that you would think, though, that a show for 33 years, which, like I said, I only judge everything in my lifetime. And I can speak on behalf of, I should be able to speak on behalf of not race, but a lot of different groups of people from where I've lived. Because very rarely somebody in their 30s has lived and broadcast in Las Vegas, Orlando, Boston, and also there's only 2 states I haven't been to broadcasting games from all over. So I've stayed at every La Quinta, every Mint under the pillow, at every city. And I've seen them all. I've checked into all of them. And I always am kind of, no matter what. But what I will say, though, is...
It wasn't a mint.
I know, it wasn't a mint. I shouldn't have said that, but it wasn't a funny joke to her. But I will say, though, that everything I judge is based on what I see. And I don't care if it's... I don't try to make friends based on saying what is the right thing or wrong thing. But I will tell you, tomorrow, Fred Robbins and I are going to go down there and we're going to smoke cigars and we're going to talk about NFL football. And it's not about that because these people, Emery Smith, my co-host, people all over, JP, when we get done with this, we've been out 100 times together. It's not about that. Never once has it crossed my mind. If somebody was Chinese, if somebody was black, it does not matter to any of that because we're people. And that's almost, and it's actually, every time I say it, it hurts me to even have to say this. But I'll tell you about Cops is I've watched for 33 years. I've not watched it. I was not 2 when I got into it. My parents were probably watching it. But I've watched it for about 20 years. And all it is showing that cops put up with a lot of crap for not a lot of money in some podunk cities where they go into a meth lab and walk into a house and say, I'm making $100 today, and probably 15 of these people have shotguns on me when I walk in. And to me, aren't we supposed to take that as the opposite of what is getting fought against, which is police brutality? Because these guys are shedding a light of kindness when they don't need to. And most people are like, dude, if I was in that situation, I'd already taken this guy down. We all sit there and watch that. Unless you're watching a completely different show and then you're calling me stupid, which you can do, but you're lying to me. So when you look at this, that's what I have to say, JP, is you would think that a show that is promoting cops have to deal with a lot of crap. Bad boys. When they do that, it was called Cops Gone Wrong. Then yeah, get that show out of here. But right now is an agenda. There is an agenda getting pushed to get all of it out of here. Everything that has to do with cops. No joke. This is not a joke, and I'll end with this. 17,000 people in this country have signed a petition right now, which actually ticked me off with Leighton. Paw Patrol. This is not a joke. You Google this. Paw Patrol, they're trying to get kicked off the airwaves right now because it promotes puppy dogs doing good things to save Chickaletta and the city from like Easter egg hunts. But they want to get Paw Patrol out of here because puppy dogs are cops. No joke.
Good. Get rid of them. Get Paw Patrol out of here.
That's where we're at in this country right now.
Dang,
they're trying to ruin my 8 o'clock mornings. 850-623-1330 is the number. Alex Cora talking about the Astros sign stealing wasn't a two-man show.
A little late to say that there, Mr. Cora.
If I'm Cora, I'm already in like the Himalayas right now with a beard. Just get out of here, man. Like it says former Red Sox manager too. He wasn't officially, but he's done. Here's the thing, Alex. I'll say to this is, I used to say coach, but he's out of here. JP, the Red Sox don't need to be saying anything right now. They need to just lay low. It's like Brick Tamlin with a trident. You probably want to lay low for a little while. You probably want it for murder. Like, you want to probably stay out of this one because you bring up your name is only going to get a rebuttal from Houston that you also cheated. And right now, the Patriot way.
Well, they're also in some other hot water as well. With the Torrey Hunter
we like
situation.
hot tubs. I got one too myself.
Well, the Torrey Hunter situation.
Yeah. I know. Listen, that's the whole point is, have you been to Boston?
No.
You got to be relevant. That's why when I said yesterday with NASCAR that you had Greensboro, Charlotte, Nashville, and Indianapolis as your 4 biggest markets, and they decided to get rid of the Confederate flag. It's not about me or you sitting here. It's about we know those markets, and that's probably going to get a lot of people upset.
I mean, in Indianapolis, it's going to upset a whole lot of people.
Yeah, but Indy,
More
there's
of
a reason.
Thing.
You know, there's a lot of
more of a Southern thing.
Yeah, that's true. The flag itself.
It's purely off of Southern tradition.
I would agree with Indianapolis on that. But you also know the majority of people in Indianapolis are a certain way. Flag or not, racism is there in Indianapolis. I'll say that. I've been to Indianapolis. I mean, I know for a fact that I've interviewed players like Victor Oladipo, who played for the Magic. He was there when I was there. Now, Oladipo, when he went to Indianapolis, has said a couple of things. It's just, I mean, it is how it is. Conseco Fieldhouse. Doesn't make anybody, and I'm judging not on across the board, but it's a different city. But when it comes down to, let's get away from this. Looking right now at some of the things going on, we talked about baseball. Do you feel, though, that Alex Cora and all the situation with Houston, is it going to come back to fruition when we come back and play?
Nope.
We're gonna move on? No more beanballs?
Well, not Alex Cora. He's done.
He's done, I know. But
I don't.
Houston and Boston, are we going to get back to beating them? Are we going to start where we are? Have we moved on?
No.
They charge the mound. You might get you can't get within.
Will there be something happen? Well, maybe. I don't.
6 feet away, but
it won't be anything what it was going to be this year. I mean, I think we're way beyond now because of everything else that's going on in this world. I think that is very minuscule of what's going on in a lot of people's minds.
Imagine the 6 feet away fights, though. Like
pitchers would win.
Tecmo Bowl right there. Yeah, just pop. You're not actually. What's the old Sock'em?
You can reach somebody from 6 feet
robot.
Away.
Dal Sim could, the old guy from Street Fighter.
I mean, many baseball players that could
throw the glove. What was the best fight you ever saw? Was it Nolan Ryan? You like the Roger Clemens throwing the bat at Piazza? I like that. Ventura getting his, kicked in by.
I don't know.
It's the best one. Who was the one pitcher that you expected? Rob Dibble, you're a Reds guy. Almost every other pitch seemed like that.
Yeah, hothead.
A little before your time, youngin. But
yeah, how was life when you were 5?
When just because we know each other. When did you start watching the games with your dad? I watched TBS even up in Boston. We moved early, but we would watch all the Braves games with Lonnie Land out there. Blauser.
That's who I started watching.
Lemke.
Was the Braves on TBS. Probably when I was about 6 years old.
Andres Thomas. I remember the old, even before they were good. Justice Gant. Yeah, that was when I first started. I was always a Sox fan, but that was the first time watching the games. Herbach pulling the pulling Gant's leg off the bag.
Yeah, I remember when the first time I saw Babe Ruth, and let me tell you, this is interesting because
let's go down this. He was a statue in gold, but continue.
No, I watched him step up, and he amazing. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. He stepped up there and pointed, bomb, nailed it. It was beautiful. That's a moment that I'll always remember, being there, being live on my computer, watching it.
I just have to say, if there isn't a cop out there named Sultan the SWAT, then you're just missing out on a good nickname right there. Let's go ahead and like Big Texas Toast out there for J.J. Watt. Let's go to the phone lines. 850-623-1330 is the number. Caller, who's this?
Yeah, this is Chris.
Hey, Chris, what's happening?
Hey, not much. Just speaking on the comment you had made a few minutes ago about Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
They actually made a system. They're trying to get all cop shows took off the TV now.
I saw that. If they actually, I will bring a sign out there and protest. Chris, if you'd like to join me, but if Paw Patrol is the one thing as my brain works, I can't have caffeine, doctor's orders after a heart situation. So Paw Patrol gets my brain going right there with Mayor Goodway and everybody. So if there's no way, if they can't cancel that for my daughter in the morning at 7:30, there are going to be problems. If you'd like to join me in that. But no reason to cancel a show with a bunch of puppy dogs for kids. I just want to say that.
No, exactly. It's a national phenomenon right now. It's going crazy everywhere.
That's right. I got a Chickaletta T-shirt. I'm going to wear. But Chris, this is the same Chris, by the way, with Freddie Freeman, right? 6'4", 6'5"?
No, this is another Chris.
Well, it is a common name in this country, and that was probably an idiotic statement by me to make that, because yesterday at the same time we had a call from Chris. So apparently I just associated every Chris with the same name across the entire Pensacola area. So I'm an idiot for that. But Chris, what's your team, by the way, since we have you on?
Florida Gators and Tampa Bay Bucks.
Well, there you go. Well, we plan on having the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on our network this year, by the way. And not we're getting everything ready to go, but we should have, now that Brady's moved on. I'll get to grin and watch him play. What are your expectations for watching Brady play this year on the Bucs?
I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'm hoping that he does like he did over in New England, but at the same time, the coaching is a lot different between the two teams. So I think that's going to be the biggest question on what he can actually do.
So you're like Jameis's touchdown to interception ratio right there. You're 50-50 on this?
Yes, sir.
What do you think? Did you see the comments of when Jameis made the comments about being one of the greatest? What did you think? Is he always going to be part of being a Tampa guy? I know you're a Florida guy as well, so it's already I could see where this conversation's going. But Jameis, when he said he's one of the greatest players, what were your first reaction? Did you see that?
I thought that was maybe for Florida State, but not Tampa at all.
But if you're going to make that point, yesterday we went over the show about from 2000 to 2020, the Heisman Trophy winners and guys that have been near the title, and the names were reeling off, like Troy Smith, Jason White, Matt Leinart, Johnny Manziel. I mean, it's an awful list, and it gets even worse if I keep reading. So for him to say that, he's pretty much, Sean McVay, I saw a stat today, he beat out Calvin Johnson for the best player in Georgia when he was in high school. So Sean McVay can say, hey, he was one of the greatest football players ever, right? Based on those comments?
Pretty much.
Pretty much. I mean, if you put it that way. Well, hey, Chris, I appreciate the call, and I think we're in agreement. You better not pull Paw Patrol, right?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Well, have a great rest of your day, and I appreciate the call, bud.
All right.
Thank you. Chris giving us a call. I really just assume every Chris is the same. That was terrible. Let's go to break. We'll come back for more Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, Live TV.
Camp Bow Wow is a day and overnight camp just for dogs. But don't take my word for it. Here's one of their campers. I couldn't agree more, Cooper. Camp Bow Wow is where your dog plays all day, then snoozes the night away. Camp Bow Wow also has spacious play areas, cabins with comfy cots, live webcams, and more. Whether your dog is coming to play for the day or staying overnight, they're sure to have a doggone good time at Camp Bow Wow in Pensacola, behind Walgreens on the corner of 9th and Langley, and online at campbowwow.com/Pensacola.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
I'm Little Teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
JP here with Talk Football and the Sports Drive. At ESPN Pensacola, we're hometown proud. We love our hometown heroes like Super Bowl champion and NFL Hall of Famer Derek Brooks.
The Super Bowl, and they're trying to win it for us. 3rd down, 18. Dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the middle. It's intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30. Brooks to the 25, 20. Derek Brooks all the way.
This is former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Washington High School alum, Derek Brooks. You listen to ESPN Pensacola.
Need a job? Then let's get back to work. Check out this listing.
Family Heating and Air has immediate openings for talented and motivated teammates. Great company with great benefits. Send your resume to opsmanager@familyheatingandac.com. If your business is hiring, then let us help you. We can tell thousands of potential candidates about your company and opportunity right now. Call us at 262-6000 to get started.
We're helping Pensacola get back to work.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
3-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? This is your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
In Pensacola, local and national sports live here. Catch the play-by-play of every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos and your national champion West Florida Argonauts football team. Your local high school football games during football season are here, along with the best local sports talk in the biz with Talk Football and the Sports Drive weekdays and Sports Call every Saturday. When it comes to sports radio, there's only one place, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Home of the UWF national champion Argos right there in football, as well as so many other sports. You were right there, so close right there in baseball, right? Was it the year before you went out to University of Mobile? Mm-hmm. Once again, we're not getting into a battle of that comment wasn't made to be a dig because I never got an out in college as a pitcher, so we can go down that path. But overall, you were on the team with a lot of the guys that went on.
Pretty much all of them. A lot of JUCO transfers came in the year I came in.
I'm asking as a kind soul. Were you in the rotation at the beginning? We don't have to get into it. No.
Nope.
You threw in the 90s too? We'll end this conversation. Like
well,
I said,
it's also
my dirtball sidearm pitching.
If you saw our pitching staff too, they were phenomenal. So.
Oh yeah. There was.
And there's something.
I watched
to be
it on
said.
TV. I remember I was sitting in. I was in Vegas at that time.
Something to be said about a freshman coming in too. When you come into that, if people think, by the way, D2 is it's not very good, please go watch it. Especially in the Gulf South Conference, it's pretty good. So that's like I said, I came in. There was a bunch of JUCO. A lot of those guys were JUCO transfers, and they were good. I mean, they were really good.
I remember watching the game because we were. That was my final year in Vegas before I drove back and worked down here, and was listening to my mom's Christian rock CDs and her Garmin telling me to turn left into the bushes, which was in the Arizona desert off a cliff. She's like, "Take a left." I'm like, I'm not driving in that cactus. Like, we're good here. We're gonna get through this. But when I remember watching, it was on CBS Sports,
the World Series game was. I remember watching that game while I was sitting there in Vegas. As your boy right there?
Kyle Harrison.
That's your guy right there?
I don't know who that guy is.
That was quite the That definitely is not Kyle Harrison. I'll tell you that much. The guy getting interviewed right there
does not look like Kyle Harrison.
That guy looked like my barber right there. But Carl Ravitch.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, there you go.
That's the president.
That's the president of operations right there
for San Francisco.
Farhan Zadi right there. Farhan Zadi. Overall, though, you think the ratings for the MLB draft is going to be up? I think at this point we've moved on. We understand that, like the.
Will it be up? Yeah.
Well, from what it was,
anybody watched it before.
That's a good point.
Outside
right there.
of families,
it's gone from 40 rounds to 5 rounds. You're right, but
whoa, that was not meant for TV. What they just did. Jeez.
So
I know you're happy you're being drafted, young man. But
you just made everybody want to rewind their TV now. That's what happens in this country. Like, whoa, that was not appropriate for TV.
Yikes.
Kids, get out of the room.
That would have a mature rating on it, yeah, and in front of his family.
You're adding fuel now. You're getting more people to watch them right now. Your ratings are going up by saying these things. You know that. The two things that came out of your mouth, not one person's like, "Ugh, I really wasn't watching the draft, and now I'm definitely not watching the draft." Right there. So, can we? This TV doesn't have a rewind, does it? Okay.
It barely works half the time.
Can we give a little of what's happening right now?
Just he.
Was a flash?
It was I guess his girlfriend or whoever she is.
Okay, now they've just doubled the ratings. Okay, continue.
Wearing the I don't know what kind of dress it is.
Triple.
A shorter dress.
Quadruple.
But anyway, they just went at it. I mean, just in front of the family, start kissing, grabbed and picked up, and it was intense, my friend.
Hello, Brittany. Can you go ahead and can you tape the draft for me? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's I think it's Sanford on the clock. I think. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Okay, what were you saying there right there? I just want to make sure. Okay. Based on that, let's get to some of this. The most ridiculous sports feats. And these are things that people probably didn't know. But right now, got enough time on your hands? Everybody's tweeting out there? Or
Takeo Roby, what? From Pine Forest High School, just got taken by the Rangers.
Well, this needs to interrupt. Yeah, this is... Look at that right there. On par right there, is he?
Pine Forest High School, Takeo Roby right there.
If you guys are listening right now, we have Pine Forest fans out there.
He is...
look at that ERA right there.
Of course, you see it right there. Preseason first team All-Florida, perfect game, all that. Phenomenal. He's committed to Troy.
He's awesome.
But,
yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, he just got drafted by the Rangers right here in our backyard.
Look, if anybody knows, anybody out there listening right now goes to Pine Forest, knows Takeo, and give us a call, 850-623-1330 on the spot. If you're watching, he's probably getting ready for the draft. I hope he's not watching us right now. This is a big moment for him.
We'll see if he has a camera. I don't know. He may have a camera.
See, that family's hugging.
No, that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Out of nowhere. I knew he was up, but I didn't know if he'd be drafted.
That is a good moment right there.
How about that? See, the Rangers got me paying attention.
Oh, wait a second. Let me call Brittany on that one too. Make it equal out. Look at that though. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome right there. 850-623-1330. Any Pie Forest people out there, you want to call them?
There you go.
Let us know right there. That's pretty cool right there. That's good to see on the spot right there. Live.
I've actually watched him pitch too. That's pretty neat.
You have watched him pitch?
Yeah, I saw him last year. It was neat.
What kind of what is he? Has he got the fork ball, palm ball?
He's got the fork slider.
Just slide out there.
The fast knuckleball.
Spitball, the sporker. Is he
No, I mean, you saw the stats, 185 strikeouts and 135 innings. And then, you remember Pine Forest, back when I was in high school, they made a pretty good run, obviously. And playing with some of those guys playing travel ball, you know how good they were. And last year, man, it was. You always talk about the teams. I think everybody talks about around here: Pace, Tate, and then you got Catholic has always been the go-to. And then Pine Forest steps up and just dominates what they did last year. And you know what? That's cool though. It's always cool to see a guy in your own backyard.
Yeah.
Go to the draft or even go play at the next level.
Like half of Arkansas got drafted. They've got guy got out of his seat the other day. He was talking about he's like, Arkansas sports stink. This guy at the end of he had an Ohio State hat, and the guy was like, excuse me?
Not all of them.
Yeah, baseball.
Yeah, they're baseball, pretty good.
But most people relate sports to what you're doing in basketball or football.
Or more football down here, obviously. But
more football everywhere. I mean, that's outside of the city of Lexington, Kentucky, or Chapel Hill or Durham. There's only a few places that's that style right there. But like Casey Martin getting drafted right there, pretty nice overall. When we come back, we are going to talk about the most ridiculous sports feats.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll get to it. It's been 2.5 days since we've been trying to get to this. I spent way too. If it isn't, it was a waste of 3 hours a couple nights ago.
We'll be the first.
We never stop working. Yeah, would be a lot of it's a waste. Don't cancel Paw Patrol. Sports Drive.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
Whatever temperatures this summer brings, Family Heating and Air, your Bryant family authorized dealer, is ready to help. With over 100 years of combined experience in the heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration industry, the NATE certified technicians are equipped to handle your needs. From a quick fix to a new cooling system, Family Heating and Air will do whatever it takes for your family's comfort. Schedule an appointment today by calling Family Heating and Air, 850-607-7478, or online, familyheatingandac.com. You can always depend on family.
What if people had a battery level icon? Like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly.
Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
What if we got rewarded for every good decision?
Dinner. Meal needs a vegetable. Check.
Amazing!
Vegetables cooked with a healthier oil instead of butter?
Fantastic! Replacing bad fats with healthier fats like those in canola or vegetable oil is good for your heart. Take up the challenge for good health because the you of the future will say... Visit heart.org/face the fats. Canola Info proudly supports the American Heart Association's Face the Fats campaign.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
And welcome back, Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast each and every day on Blab TV. Some of the headlines here today as we roll through. Rob Manfred said 100% we're playing baseball. All right, when? Flip a coin, right? It's been about 15 back and forth on proposals with the Major League Players Association. Eventually, they're going to get it done. Tony Clark needs to just stand up because he's like 7 foot in the room. He was the guy that came in, always got a big hit for the Yankees. He would have his numbers back in the day when Tony Clark played first. Remember Tony? He would have been that guy when he played for the Yanks that had about 30 more home runs with that short porch and right. But he was the guy. He was. Every team has like the guy that comes off the bench and ticks you off in the big game. Matt Stairs did it for like 40 teams. Remember Matt Stairs?
We got to get on topic. Get to your list.
This is important though.
No, because you've tried for almost 3 days now to get this thing.
But this is important to say, though. It's a short rant here, though. But
that's how they always start.
But for baseball, which is more important than my list right now, though, over under then. We'll stop it at this. You get last comment. Over under 5 days.
What,
before we have a decision? No, we're not going to get started for a while. All right, then we'll move on because there's no point. I agree. Most ridiculous sports feats. We'll go over some of them right now, and we'll go through these quick hitters. This is rapid fire, which has not been the point of the show. Wilt Chamberlain. All right, we'll make this happen. Wilt Chamberlain, 100 points in a game, or Cal Ripken's 2,632 game streak. Just got to pick one. What is a more ridiculous sports feat that will never get broken? Now, remember, all of these won't get broken, more than likely. But which one to you is more ridiculous?
Cal Ripken.
All right. UCLA 70-74 men's basketball team, 88 straight wins versus Richard Petty's 200 wins in NASCAR or in racing.
Richard Petty.
Wow. This is almost impossible to pick these things, but I will go with UCLA men's team. 88 straight wins in any basketball. Because college basketball, you're kids. To be able to be that mindset for 5 years to be able to get it done. I guess when you have Bill Walton and Kareem. All right, we'll share. 200 is ridiculous, but if you're good at racing, you're good at racing. You know what I'm saying? If you have the right car. I feel like
it's a long time to be good at racing.
I know it is. Both these, that's what I'm saying. This is not easy to pick. You're not wrong either way. Let's go with another one here. Rocky Marciano right there. Rocky Marciano. From 52 to 56, he never lost a fight. Never lost a fight in the career of boxing. Over 40 fights, never lost. Versus guy that doesn't get a lot of love. Johnny Vandermeer. Back-to-back no-hitters in 1973 and starts. Consecutive games with no-hitters from Johnny Vandermeer in 1973 compared to Rocky Marciano.
Isn't Floyd undefeated?
Yeah, but Rocky Marciano finished his career never losing, and for 5 years, he never wasn't the champion. I'm talking about was the heavyweight champion forever. Like, Mayweather hasn't lost either, you're right.
49-0.
But he wasn't the champion from day one. Pretty much like for 4.5 years.
You're saying so is the thing like him not losing?
More of a feat. This isn't saying. This is saying that
I'm gonna go with the other one. This one's too confusing.
He's the heavyweight champion.
Right. So
to be the heavyweight champion, when you're a welterweight and some of these others.
Are you talking about overall or his heavyweight?
I'm talking about heavyweight.
Well, if it's just pure heavyweight.
Because Julio Cesar Chavez, I think, won like 80 straight fights. But heavyweight's different because you got some big bruisers who want to kick your you-know-what in. Heavyweight's a different breed up there.
Yeah.
That was the point, yeah.
Okay.
You're still going with Vandermeer on that? That's pretty nasty.
No,
okay.
I'll go with that.
You're right. It's okay to question these. That's part of it. Like I said, this thing was not done. If I zoomed in on this is done on a sheet right here. All right. A lot to learn on this sheet, too, here. 18-year-old Tommy Ross in soccer had a hat trick in 90 seconds in soccer versus Bill Mosienko in 1958 for the Chicago Blackhawks, who had a hat trick in 18 seconds. But remember, hockey versus soccer. Hockey, you usually get an average of 7 goals, where soccer, over-unders is set in 2.5. So they're very tough.
Don't care. 18 seconds is unbelievable. That's stupid.
I'm going with the 90-second soccer because the only reason I'm saying that is because I've watched a Tampa Bay Lightning game. I've watched an Ice Flyer game. I was at it where I went to the bathroom and 3 goals went by. I literally sit through half these soccer games right now.
18 seconds, though.
I know.
That's insane.
I know it is.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I know.
I'm saying 18 seconds. Both of them are incredible, obviously.
To get a hat trick in soccer these days alone as an individual.
Ronaldo said, get off my back. I do that every day.
He does not.
Every game.
No, when he scores for Portugal, they're like, hey, the 1-0 win. Yeah, a lot of these games, if you add it up, yeah, I agree. 18 seconds is ridiculous. The feat, by the time, Les Miles even would agree that the timing fits. I'm going to go with the soccer player, though. To score 3 goals in a minute and a half. You know the average first goal in soccer? In professional soccer? 19 minutes, 30 seconds. That's the first one to be scored. And and if you get a goal in the first 20 minutes, it's a lucky game right there. Looking at the all right, moving on here. This one's going to shock you right here. Young Kim, remember the old sidewinder right there for the Diamondbacks. Only pitcher. This is a shocker that this happened. Only pitcher to go 3 times with 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 outs. Only pitcher ever to do it. 8 other guys have done it 2 times. That's a pretty that's an awesome inning. He's done it 3 times in his career. 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 outs. Going up against Cy Young, 511 wins. Almost 100 ahead of second place in the history of baseball.
Yeah, Cy Young. Not even. It's.
One time he won like 58 games in a season or something. Like that's.
Yeah, ridiculous.
We'll go with Cy.
The way the game has changed.
I don't want to give Young Kim anything. I watched him get rocked for about 4 years. So, we'll go on from that. 31. This one moving on here. Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's a pretty good feat for Arnold here.
I'll pick that one.
This one, yeah. Get to the chopper. Arnold bought JFK's clubs 1996 for $772,000. And that weekend, he went out to the course up there in Nantucket and holed out. First time he ever got a hole-in-one. Bought JFK's clubs. Next day on the course, makes a hole-in-one. Versus Big O, Oscar Robertson. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for a season. Arnold makes a hole-in-one buying JFK's clubs against his Big O here.
Well, seeing as probably nobody will, you'd have to use those clubs to be able to do this.
Based on the feat,
Oscar Robertson.
Well, based on the question, Arnold has to win, right? Because the whole thing is, who would ever be able to get this feat? So someone would have to buy JFK's clubs for $772,000 and hold out the next day, and the odds of that are pretty much 0 to do that. So, when Arnold win? When he based on the assumption of feats getting overthrown, what's a better accomplishment?
Yeah,
with those
Oscar
arms
Robertson.
for Arnold, I don't know right there. Commando was all right. Moving on here to the next one here. 172 Hours, the movie that was made right there of Aaron Ralston. Did you see the movie? Guy's arm got under a rock. I didn't want to watch it. 2003. 1,000-pound boulder landed on the guy's arm, crushing it for 5.5 days. He laid there before he sawed his arm off. We'll move on from that. But sawed his arm off and went on to have a prosthetic and made a movie about him, talked about it. Compared to...
Hope that never happens. I'm not voting for that.
Well, but feats on the...
This is a horrible path we're going down.
But it's athleticism. He was rock climbing. We're going to... We'll put it up against another rock climber here.
You do a guy that
another
got
movie
by
too.
wolves.
There's a movie called Free Solo right here. Alex Honnold, he was the first one ever to climb El Capitan in Mount Yosemite, and it's a 3,000. This one I'm not even gonna try. I've been down to Weatherford's, tried like the 5-inch rock climbing. My hands are slippery. Fell off in like 30 seconds. I was.
You're a sweaty Italian.
I couldn't get up the rock climbing. It was like 10 feet. Hard time making up the stairs right now. But the Alex Honnold, this actually makes me scared saying this. 3,000-foot climb, no rope, straight up. It took him 5 hours. 5 hours straight up with nothing, but just like looking like one of those movies, World War Z, the guy climbing the wall, with nothing, slippery hands or anything. He can't be like, time out. Just goes back. Nothing. Nobody with him to carry him or anything. There's a movie about it, Free Solo, against the guy that sawed his own arm off after 5.5 days. What's more of an accomplishment? It's a very tough battle, in my opinion.